Greetings. I want to talk to you today about a subject that I notice seems to be growing, and that is this concept of pastoral burnout. It seems to be expanding. I run across uh, articles on it on occasion, and I find it kind of fascinating to read that guys who were in the ministry and they decided that they can't take it anymore and they're quitting. Church doors are closing. And it strikes me as kind of strange in relationship to when I look at the book of Acts, and which is the history of the early church, and I see people like the Apostle Paul who faced untold adversity, imprisoned, beaten. The prisons they were in certainly weren't nice, stoned, um, and and yet they never quit. They went strong to the end. And I'm aware of the church, for example, in Iran, one of the fastest growing churches in the world, where their faith could cost them their lives, certainly at the very minimum, torture and abuse, and yet it grows. They keep on going no matter the circumstances. And it just strikes me as interesting. What's going on here in America, where we have it relatively easy? And I'm not even thinking of anybody in particular, okay? But what I find fascinating about all of this is that this tendency in our world to quit. And I was talking to a guy about it, because one of the reasons people quit is they talk about the stress of what they're doing. You know, they can't take it anymore, the stress. And I was talking to a guy, a professional clergyman, a number of years ago about it. And I said, well, why is stress causing them to quit? And he said, well, you know, it's a different stress to be a pastor, be in the ministry. The stress is, it's different. And I said, well, how so? I said, well, they take it home with them. And I thought, well, other people have stress and take it home with them. If I've had limited experience in management, and if you're working for somebody and you have a certain amount of requirement that you have to fulfill every day, and if you don't, you have to give an answer for it. And, you know, things go wrong, whatever, you have to give an answer for it. I'm telling you, that's stress, and you take it home with you. People take stress home with them all the time. And yet, for some reason, there's this, I think, a sense of entitlement where the clergyman thinks, you know, I've got it, I've got all these more problems than anyone else. And frankly, I think it's a little bit of a being out of touch with reality. You hear about guys, you know, saying, I need, I had 6, 8 weeks sabbatical so I can go away and renew and refresh and charge the batteries, so to speak. And I need 6 weeks of paid leave so I can do that. And the congregation looks at, what are you talking about? I mean, I got to go to work tomorrow, and I don't get 6 weeks of sabbatical. And so I shared all this with this professional clergyman, and I never heard from him ever again. And I think really there's something going wrong here when we have this kind of a mentality that says, well, you know, I'm a pastor, and it's a tough row to hoe, and it is, by the way, there is stress in it. And so therefore, I'm going to either I'm going to take 6, 8 weeks off, or I'm going to quit. And I think to myself, what's wrong here? There's something wrong. I think it could be the difference between a profession and a passion. And I want to talk about that in my next session. So until then, I will say, see you later.